So, third question is, where's your focus? And my suggestion is that we keep our focus seriously. Keep our focus inside, internally. What can we do? What's in our control? How can we influence the outcome? Okay? Question number 4. What questions do you ask yourself? What questions do you ask yourself? Now, questions are one of the most powerful things in the world, and one of the most powerful ways for us to reach our goals and to learn and do 100 other things. But the important thing about the questions, and Jenny, you can start wherever you are. So the questions are important, and the questions that we ask need to be focused on that internal thing. When you think about the questions that you ask yourself, how many of them are you asking about yourself that talk about you? What can I do? What's in my control? What could I have done differently? What should I do tomorrow? What could I do better? What worked? All of these are questions that are internally focused in terms of what we can do. What we can do. That's where we want to focus our attention. The questions that we ask ourselves that are internally focused, that are focused on I, they're not being selfish. They're being realistic about what we can do something about. The questions that we ask ourselves that are focused on what we can do. So if you're taking notes, you want to put outside that I or we, if you're thinking about your team, what can we do? What could we do differently? What could we do differently next time? What could we do better? What worked? Focus, again, notice that they're focused on things that are inside of our control. Question number 5. Question number 5 is, what explanations are you using? Are you saying, well, it's the economy? Well, if that one client hadn't gone away, well, if she'd have treated me better, well, if my dog hadn't eaten the homework, see, those are all the same thing, right? As long as if our explanations are pointed outward, if our explanations are in putting us in a place of denial or blame, you're not serious. If you want to get serious, your explanations have to be around what you can do. It all goes back to this focus piece. How are you explaining the actions of those, how are you explaining the results around you? How are you explaining your results? How are you explaining the things that you like and don't like in your world? What explanations are you using? If you're using explanations that are, when I was a kid, my dad used to tell me, now Kevin, always remember and never forget that when you point your finger at someone else, there are 3 times as many fingers pointing back at you. Now, it took me a long time to figure out how smart that was. What he's talking about is blame. What he's talking about is how are you explaining the world around you? If you're serious, you'll look at the 3 fingers pointed back and say, what can I do? What's in my control? What can I influence? How can I make a difference? What can I do? Question number 6. I've been talking about the word serious. I don't know how many times I've used it, a lot. But the last question is also important, and the last question is, are you having any fun? I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're not having fun in your life, then are you serious about having a life that you dream about? If you don't have any joy in your life, are you living the life you want to live? I mean, let's get serious. We've got to find ways to have fun in our lives. See, here's the thing. A couple of months ago, I was on vacation, and my wife and the rest of my family was coming the day after me, and we were at my kidhood home farm in Michigan, and my sister was already there. And my wife calls me early in the morning as they're getting ready to drive up, and she said, and it was like, 6:30, 7 o'clock, and she's talking to me on the phone. I know that they were leaving. And she says, so is anyone else up? I said, well, yeah, just Paula, my sister. She goes, of course. Only the high achievers are up. And I thought about that a lot. And here's the point I want to make about that. It's not that I think I am or am not or what I think about that. The point is that I think that all of us need to recognize the potential that we have inside of ourselves. And if we get too intent on that, we can get a little too serious. Like, oh my gosh, I should have closed that sale. Oh my gosh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have gotten one more chapter written. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I could have done that. Why didn't I do that? I'm better than that. Right? Anyone ever have that stuff going on in your head? You got to have some fun. You've got to find that balance. If you want to be serious about your life, if you want to be serious about your success, you have to choose to have some fun. So, I have one more question for you. And the last question I have for you is actually on the green sheet of paper that Jenny handed out. And my question is, what can we do to help you? We seriously want to help you if we can. And so if you're serious, you'll take a look at that form, fill it out, and hand it to one of us. It's just a survey. It gives us a chance to say, what can we do to serve Rainmakers? You see, I've had the opportunity to stand on this stage, I think, more than anybody else. 6 times, I think, is when I counted. So if no one's done it any more often than me, I'm honored for that to be true. And so I want to do what I'm serious about my intent and our intent to do what we can to help you. But we don't know all of you, and there's no way we can do that. And you don't have to do this unless you're serious about improving your results. And I'll commit to you that we'll do what we can based on your answers if you choose to answer. So everything on this list, all of these 6 questions, all come down. You see you've got one more blank on your sheet. You're going, what else is he going to say? All of this stuff comes down to the final thing, and that all of the stuff I've said in the last few minutes is about personal accountability. You see, everything I just talked about, asking these questions and the way you choose to answer these questions are all about a choice that no one else can make for you, and that, by the way, you're making every day whether you know it or not. So if you're serious about your success, if you're serious about your life's success, your business success, in helping other Rainmakers, whatever that is, if you're serious, you need to make new choices. You need to make accountable choices. Because you see, when it's all done, it all comes down to you. It all comes down to do. Thank you.